Hello. Hi, good evening. Good evening, good evening. Okay, thank you so much for coming. Christina and I have been kind of chatting about this for months, so this is fun to finally have you here. So tonight we're actually going to run through a bunch of really cool items and trends tonight. We're also going to talk about some really cool new stuff we're going to be doing later, so I'll tell you all about that as a sneak peek. But first and foremost, I want to say thank you so much to the Fashion Festival, for Melbourne Fashion Festival. This is an official cultural program, and now that I say that out loud, I remember I forgot my sign. So there is a sign that says I am an official participant. I would have picked it up and everything. I Instagrammed it and then left it. That's totally my life. But before we get started, I actually want to introduce you to Milana from Melbourne Fashion Festival. So please come on up and say hello. Please kind of just tell everyone like what you do and about the rest of the week that's going on. Sure. Still other stuff.
Well, I'm part of the cultural program, so we do have our festival week, which happened last week actually. Just finished up yesterday, where we had the runways. But we also run the cultural program, which runs for the whole month of March. And essentially, the cultural program is about allowing people to get involved in fashion in other ways other than just the runways, buying clothes. So in this case, we're talking about fashion and beauty. We also have a lot of artists who are showing works that are connected to fashion. Lots of different events, and yeah, it's really great to have this as part of it. So thank you very much for being part of the program tomorrow.
Thanks. She's actually going to dash off to another event, so let's give her a round of applause. Thank you. So I will introduce my amazing and fantastic and phenomenal, and I'm such a fangirl of her. No, I really am. So if you do not know, which you probably don't know me, you know her. So Christina Fisher from here right now. So say hello.
Thank you so much for coming tonight. I met Therese when I was a blogger in Chicago last year, and we just kind of hit it off. And then Therese emailed me with this presentation coming to Australia, and I said, okay, I'll come along. That sounds fantastic. I could talk about beauty pretty much underwater, so this is right up my alley of things I like to talk about.
Cool. So tonight we're going to do a couple of different things. We're going to talk about some of the trends that we saw from the runway. We're also going to talk about really how you can translate some of those into your everyday beauty regimens. Oftentimes people see high fashion or high beauty looks and then they go, I'll never look like that. I'll never be able to pull that off. But there's a way for you to do that in a way that's non-threatening. We were kind of having a conversation about walking into a beauty store and kind of being overwhelmed and then just running out because you don't know what to start or where to start. So we'll talk about some of those trends for the year. And then we'll first start off with hair, because I'm going to start off with Christina with her policy first. And then I'll talk about beauty. But we'll also take your questions. So you guys might have some questions that might be, like where do I start? What do I do? What trends kind of translate to me? And how we can really help you kind of answer some of the burning questions you might have about that. And then again, there's one more thing we'll talk about a little later, which is the business of beauty and the collective that's kind of forming as we speak. So I'm going to start with you, Christina. Do you want to grab a chair, or you can stand? Let's be formal. So I know you got a chance to see some of the runways this year, but you're doing like so much. So tell me about some of the great things. Okay, so one of them is this amazing hair top she's wearing. And I didn't see the poster back then, so I'm very excited. Again, I'm a fangirl. So tell me, what other trends that you see happening? We talked about some of them today. So what are your, big trends you're excited to see for fall and winter, and then going into the rest of the year for 2014?
We're probably starting with some hair colour trends. There's definitely been a switch away from really strong ombre colour. They're really defined black and blonde kind of look, going to more of a bronze. The term that gets thrown around, but it kind of exists. You have bronze.
Is the ombre thing going?
It's so it's a little bit like a kind of like a Jennifer Alba JLo-y kind of colour when they're in that middle range where it's not like a bronzy blonde that just works. It's a bit of a softer tone. Always it's going back for winter tones to go a little bit more, to stop being so brassy on the ends and go for not quite a block colour, but just a really, really subtle highlight. It really work. I think it's a little bit more flattering as well. Some of the strong ones, they look so fantastic. They're really difficult to maintain. And it's definitely a way that you can keep that sort of softer colour around your face but not have to have such an extreme. And the other colour trends is also going into bright colour. We saw the runways using clip-ins, but this hair chalk is pretty fun. I will say that this particular type of hair chalk is more than one day. So there's a lot of chalk on the market, and the difference in some hair chalks is you can put them on, you have one day's wear, and you just wash them out. They'll be really fun for one-off use. You put them on when your hair's already styled, and then you can actually keep them going just for that look for that night out. Liquid hair chalks like this one are fantastic because you can restyle your hair afterwards. Put them on dry hair, but then you might decide you want to curl your hair or you want to straighten back out again. You can still do that, and the colour will stay in. I thought it was for about a week. I'm not too sure now. I'm really wondering how long this one's going to last. I'm going to try the head and shoulders to try and see how to wash it out, but we'll see. But just to be warned, sometimes
Semi-permanent hair chalk.
yeah, and then it's actually probably a really great value way to do a semi-permanent colour. It's a lot cheaper, it's quite easy to do, you can do it yourself. Or get together with someone and actually do some details. It's hard to just back to your own head. But the interesting trend we were looking at today is locks, dreadlocks on the Camilla runway, which is really interesting. I got a lot of comments when I was talking to my audience about it. I've had a few people ask. The funny thing was we were talking about it the week before. Someone asked me if she should dreadlock her hair. I was a little bit like, well, I'm not the biggest fan, but having seen them, I can kind of see they were going, and I was surprised by the comments that came back that people were more interested in them than I thought. So that's one that hasn't been around for a particularly long time. We could see coming back. I'd imagine it would almost work if you were to do it in clip-ins, because no one really, it's a bit of a commitment to dress your hair.
Big commitment to lock your hair.
Yeah.
If you do it, well, in the States, a lot of blacks do it. They'll lock their hair. It's fairly not common in whites, but it's a lot common in African Americans. But the problem is there's no, it's once you've locked your hair, it's locked. I have a girlfriend who's actually growing hers out, and they look gorgeous and they look amazing. But if she ever wants to change her hair, she's got to shave it. So it's a commitment. It's one of those things where it's not like I change my hair too much. I'll go from straight to curly to color to not color. But I'll be like, can I cut this off? So that's a big commitment. So that's a big thing that if you're commitment though, don't do it. You're not married, don't do it.
Yeah.
Single girl, deal with law. That's my tweet.
That one's for sure. So I'm really, honestly, I hadn't heard so many people who actually really like them, and their comment that was well-maintained dreads, which I think is,
yes.
It's also a very hazy term. I don't know, to me they look quite, what's well-maintained.
Well, in the States you can get them, you can go to people, just like you would go to the salon and get them retwisted or get them, clean, washed and cleaned, because that's the hard part, is that it's harder to, keep it clean because you've got to not wash it for so long in order to get it tacky and dirty to stay and kind of hold. So that's the hard part. A lot of people use, I know a lot of whites use wax, the beeswax to hold it together. I just don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Again, I'm a commitment.
Yeah, I'm not. It's not a trend I'll be trying anytime soon. But if you do want to try it, I'd go the Camilla route and just do some hair extensions.
Yes.
Much easier. Just do some braids to cover it, and then you can pick up a link, and then there's no commitment.
There's no commitment.
Much easier. And other
You know
trends.
what, braids? like so the other night we saw the cornrow
Cornrow
twist.
yeah.
We were talking about that. That's something easy that girls could try.
Definitely, that's a great way. By creating that sort of dusty texture in your hair first, using either like a dry wax spray or a styling powder. It was the Shotty Drop Show had 3 cornrow style twists on the side with a like loose waved hair. Surprisingly easy to do. A few bobby pins, twisting your hair back, but the trick is actually getting that dusty texture so the roll stays even the whole way around. It's also a great way to do that style that was popular over the last year where you shave side, which is also another commitment, and which I'm sure you.
Yeah, I had a smoke on, so yeah.
If you want to fake that look, either slicking your hair back is one, but if you want to create it with a bit more detail, that sort of cornrowed back is a great way to just going up to a higher side, like a deep side part. The best way to find your deep side part is to go from the outside of your iris, the arch of your eyebrow, and follow that line up to your hairline is your perfect deep side part. So if you're going to do that shave side, that's the point you're taking it from. Take it right up from there, and that's the ideal place to find it on your own face, looking straight in the mirror, the outside of your eye, through your eyebrow arch to your hairline. And that'll give you, the great thing as well I love about a deep side part is creating so much extra volume on top of your hair. The moment you change your part from one side to the other, instantly double volume in your hair. Yeah.
So let's talk about, we were also talking earlier today about color. So not just contemporary color, but you were talking about smudging.
Yes.
So what's smudging? Have you heard of smudging?
So smudging is another color technique that's sort of coming in to replace, not so much replacing balayage techniques, but sort of working with it. Traditionally, when you'd have a full head of foils, when you're going blonde, mainly this colour's for blondes, when you have a full head of foils, or actually even a variation of highlights through your hair. There's in-between appointments always a little bit hard. Your hair colour looks a little flat, and you start to get quite an unnatural grow up. Instead of having, it's also quite expensive and time-consuming, very, very time-consuming to have a whole head of foils every 6 weeks in salon. So
those people in full part.
that is a lot of the time. That's my thing sometimes. I've switched my colour recently. Probably doing a sort of similar thing where what you'll do is you'll actually apply a permanent colour over the first ½ to inch of your hair rather than having the highlights done all over. Just doing this root colour, which is about halfway between your natural base colour and the colour of your blonde. And it's effectively just put on, only in this process for about 20 minutes, and it's smudged into where your highlights finish. And it's very complex. I'm just going to say, Goldie Hawn's daughter.
Kate Hudson.
Yeah, that sort of colour where she's got the full of blonde at the end, but it's very darker, a little bit darker at the roots, but quite natural looking. It's that colour smudging, so using a permanent colour for about 20-minute process. So not only is it cheaper, it's also a lot quicker. So you can do that every second appointment to create a lot longer lasting, more natural looking blonde.
What about girls who've got darker hair? Like what's the thing for next? Like I know you guys are going into fall, so what could us darker brown haired girls do to kind of zhuzh our look a little bit with our hair?
Well, an interesting one with this liquid hair chalk is they do a bronzy caramel colour. So it works. All these colours work really well on dark hair. So they won't last as long.
Just like rose perking up.
Yeah.
A room full of dark hair girls.
Yeah.
I want to ask the question they're thinking.
But yeah, it's really great. It's only about $20, and you get a lot of applications out of it. And you just apply it. The little applicators in the pack, just to apply your own sort of semi-highlights. They will last, depending on your hair quality and type, maybe 3 to 6 washes. And you can just have that. The best thing therefore as well is when you're doing updos for braids and styles, when you have one flat hair colour, it's very difficult to see the style. You might have noticed if you've, maybe particularly some of my styles, when you do them in dark hair, you lose a lot of the detail. It's difficult to photograph, it's difficult to see if you've got a special event or just something that you want to actually see the detail in your hair. Using this as a temporary hair colour, and accenting where your style's going to sit, adds so much more. Even in a bun, you'll get that sort of ribbon of colour through It's a fantastic way for a special occasion updo, or even just to change your hair up for a week or so.
Does it come in cream form, like?
The liquid. Yeah, so it's quite a, almost like just a slightly thicker than water, and you apply it with a cotton bud. They almost have like a 2 cotton pad system, and so you can just get a section of hair, slide it down, and into dry hair, and it's great. So it's, there's also another, the other one is,
what's the brand?
this is L'Oreal's hair gel. It's L'Oreal Professional, so it's available in salon. Maybe a door beauty might have it. I'll have a check. But it's around about $21. And the bottle's quite large. I think you'd get quite a few uses out of it. Yeah. The other option is Kevin Murphy do their original Colour Bug, which was one of the first hair chalks on the market. They did a shimmer range last year, which was beautiful. They have like a rosy colour one and a bronzy coloured one, and they're specifically for brown hair. They won't show up on white hair at all, but on dark hair, they'll show up as a shimmery highlight. And so it was the other way to do it. This is that's a great one-off one to do.
I can think of that again.
Yes, the Kevin Murphy Colour Bug.
Okay.
So it's a little circular one, almost like a hair eyeshadow for your hair.
Oh, okay.
Similar sort of object, like it's like a chalky shadow. Onto dry hair, just on highlighting different sections. But the shimmer ones are designed for dark hair, and they are perfect. So I'd go for that. It's like a bronze colour in that liquid, and then the shimmer ones in the chalk. You will be surprised. If you try them on my hair, you can't notice a thing. But on dark hair, you'll get that beautiful shimmer through, which is perfect for highlighting style.
And you said try that even just on a small section of like a braid or a style where people can really kind of see the ribbon of color. That's a really cool idea. I like that. My sister, I was commenting on how I like really love her blog, but I can't do any of the. I'm very honest. And my sisters are half Irish, half Filipino, and so I'm like playing in the one's hair, like okay, well sit still, like I'm trying to get this right. And it does. It looks like it's these great amazing braids, these great amazing styles. They're really, really cool, and especially I love the fact that they're tutorial, so it gives you this like, I can do this. It's like a DIY for your hair. Like everyone loves to do something that they don't want to just see in a salon or have to go into a salon to do. So I love that. I love that thing. Yeah.
And there's other dark hair trends. Seeing a lot of warmer browns. Reds have been really popular over the last year, so going into the sort of caramel browns and almost slightly reddy browns as well. Another big colour trend.
You talked about platinum.
Yes. So if you want to change it entirely.
So okay, but like, who's that for? Like, who do you think? Like, I don't know a lot of people who just like, you know what? I know people who do it, but I just don't know that I'm comfortable for it. So like, who would you say is the prime candidate for a platinum blonde?
I love platinum on someone who loves wearing a lot of black. I really think if you just love to wear black, it's just so bright. I find, because sometimes when you get a lot of platinum hair, wearing a lot of colour, it just feels a bit too much sometimes. If you love wearing black and you just want to have some colour, you can always find a blonde that'll match your skin tone. And I had a friend recently do it. I think it's always better in shorter hair, going to lose a lot of hair quality in longer hair, but with these bobs and lobs coming on, really suits platinum if you're just with that sort of style cut, and a little bit of regrowth. You can even do that little smudging effect as well. Will kind of get you going, but it's definitely a commitment. But it's great. I think it's incredibly vibrant. Looks fun. Looks great with a bright lip and a black.
How damaging is like on your hair? Because I think you're probably better than making hair fall out and stuff.
Yeah, it can do. It all depends on the quality of your hair to begin with, and how quickly you go that platinum. They're the two factors. So if you've got really thick, really healthy hair to begin with, you can handle losing a bit of hair quality. And if you it's true. I sacrifice a lot of hair quality all the time, but I've got a lot of it, so no one's really noticing it yet. But if I had really fine hair and I wanted to go platinum, on one hand, it's great because it thickens each individual hair. Bleach expands your hair shaft. So, but that's why often when you have fine hair, people suggest getting highlights because it instantly thickens your hair. It creates a thicker hair, hair strand. And so if you have fine hair, highlights is often a technique to make your hair feel thicker. But it doesn't have to be bad. I mean, Gwen Stefani is the example of having platinum hair for 20 years. And I look closely and there's no, I look.
She's rushing the conspiracy.
The first time she meets us, she's like, yeah, I'm not finding it.
Who's your colorist? How often do you get your hair colored? I don't understand. There's like, I check, she always has a part line. Sometimes hair pieces, but never a full wig. And she never has any regrowth. It's quite remarkable. And she doesn't have any broken flyaways all around her face, which is another telltale sign of bad bleaching. But look, you'll be looking next time you see a picture of her.
Best bleaching on that.
Yes, exactly. But I would say she probably has it done out every 10 to 14 days. She'd have I'm pretty surprised if she just had a tiny touch up. You never see her with half a centimetre of regrowth. It's amazing.
That's why I don't comb my hair. My hair grows very, very fast. And the minute I went anything lighter than a brown, you could see roots the next day. And I was like, I did that whole thing for nothing. So yeah, that's a good.
But also, the other in reverse, if you're dyeing your hair brown and you've got greys, there's a new product called Colour Wow, which is a mineral powder for hair, which is applied with a brush. So it's quite a little bit labour intensive for doing large areas, but you can swim in it. It won't sweat off at the gym. It's not going to, on a summer's day, run down your face. It is amazing. And I've tested it. And in fact, I tested it on someone's eyebrows and it wouldn't wash off.
Let that be a lesson to you.
It'll wash off.
Don't be her dummy. I want to do a review of a product.
It won't wash off with water. It'll come off with makeup remover.
Okay.
Or with shampoo. But just just like wetting it and trying to rub it off today. So it means you can go for a swim, you can go to the gym. If you've got to cover that time between covering up grades, just around your temples, part line, that sort of thing, it's perfect.
Oh wow. Okay. Are we writing this list of really good products down? No, that's really amazing. That's amazing. So you mentioned one thing, and I'm gonna quickly I want you to tell me cuts. Because this year cuts are really big too. Asymmetricals, we talked about the shaving, that's kind of going away.
It's just such a commitment. That asymmetrical look is still popular, but doing the pin back sides or cornrows is a way to do it without shaving. Yeah, and then
could do that.
Yeah. and I do see more and more short hair. And when I say short, I'm talking anywhere from shoulder length to Norman's cut. I think that sort of cut is so versatile because you've got so much hair still to play with, and pin back style. People think that short hair isn't as versatile. It's true that you can do so much with short hair. And in fact, you'll probably notice long hair gets stuck doing a ponytail, or you'll do the same thing every time, or a bun. Whereas as soon as you go a little bit shorter, you're forced to be a bit more creative, and you start thinking and getting so many different style ideas. But definitely a huge trend still for lobs, bobs, and a pixie, so popular.
What's a lob?
It's somewhere between a bob and long hair.
A long?
A long bob.
A blob.
Yeah, a blob. Yeah.
Because she said I've got a blog.
Yeah.
You don't have a blog.
So yeah, no, that's about a lob length. So
Okay.
it's just below your collarbones. Yeah, just around about that length. So it's not, bobs will be above shoulder to collar length. Hitting collarbone length, and that looks fantastic graduated a bit longer at the front as well. It pretty much suits so many different face shapes. It's incredible. The longer front means you can still put it back. That having it longer at the front means you'll still get a ponytail if you want to pull it up. And really versatile.
Nice. I learned a quick little silly tip a couple of months ago actually while watching random public television at home that bobby pins were started in Chicago.
Hey.
Yeah, the actual bobby pins. Yeah. created in Chicago.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question about the pins.
Yeah.
Just, because they're on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, like, this little image, and like, you've been using bobby pins the wrong way. Apparently,
Doing that.
So apparently the Richie bit.
I'm gonna let her answer.
Oh, is that true?
It depends. Depends on the style you're doing and depends on whether you're using a curved pin. Curved pins have the flat side curved to the shape of your head, so they should go the side of your head. If you're doing it into a bun, that is an easier way to put it in. But yeah, exactly. It's French pins for that. It kind of depends. I think it can work either way, but my biggest tip is don't open the bobby pins. Yeah, where you actually stick it out and then open them up. The problem you can have is that you actually catch too much hair in the pin. Whichever way you're putting it in, the pin only can hold that amount of gap between where the ridges are. That's how much hair the bobby pin's supposed to hold. And that little opening is designed to show you that's how much hair you can take into the pin that it will actually hold firmly in place. When you open the pin and you let it take in 2 or 3 or 4 times as much hair, it stays open in the style, and then by the end of the day, it's sort of like, depending on how thick or how strong your hair is, it'll start shifting out, and then you'll get them pinging out of your hair.
I used to have long hair, and that was my problem all the time.
Yeah. So whichever way you're putting them in, I don't think it really matters, but it's actually not open in. Instead, we twist them and weave them in. So you want to put them up and then get some hair and then twist them back around. Yeah. That's a better way to do it. And if you actually sort of go up and then across, either up or across or up and then down, you'll actually get the pin to stay. Even actually with a lot of weaker pins. Sorry?
It's a pixie.
Oh, pixie is just a very short haircut. It's kind of, yeah, Anne Hathaway, that's the real definition of a pixie. Very, very short all over. Kind of will just be cut quite fine at the ends. But the longer pixie, the Michelle Williams kind of pixie, where it is a little bit of a sweeping fringe, eyebrow length fringe, I find a lot more of a flexible style and suits more people. Gives you still a few more styles to play with. Otherwise, very, very short all over. There's some things you can do with there, but that's with longer layers on top and very short at the back.
I want a pixie so badly, but I just refuse to straighten my hair that short. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, it just will get, well, I'm going into our summer in the States, and so that would just be a waste of my life. I would cut it that short. And we were talking about, like, usually I've gone curly in the summer and then straight in the winter. This was actually the first winter I went the entire time curly, which I don't know if I'll be able to wear it again, because it's hard to maintain curls under hats. So you find yourself getting to work and you're like, good? No, flat? Okay, so it's just bad. Or you leave it with wet hair, and that's horrible in the cold. But so this summer I'm gonna see what I can do about trying to cut it again, or maybe give it to some color that like the hat color sounds good.
Don't have a super great tip for hat hair for you, but for longer hair, I have a really, really great hat hair tip. Change your part when you put your hat on. So whichever way you wear your hair, when I put my hat on, I'll put my hair this way, put my hat on, and then when it flattens it all down, take your hair back out, flip it back to your normal part. And you'll never ever have hair. It works in bike helmets, beanies, anything. So when you put your hat on, switch your hair over the other way.
I can't believe that!
Yeah. You'll never, yeah, that's okay. And if you wear a centre part, keep it kind of forward and around, and then you'll just, or you can just to the side again and put it back to the centre. You can just change it around. Whichever, when you put your hat back on, just move your hair first, put your hat on, then when you take it off, put it back.
That actually might have been a good tip.
So it's hard to short hair, but you can still sort of flatten it down to one side a little bit, and then you'll at least be able to push it back. But every time you put your hat on, switch your hair underneath it.
This is going to make your
go on Twitter.
This is going to make your day. It's going to make your day. That's amazing. Amazing. See, all of the product knowledge is smashed into our beautiful students.
And we should start talking to you more about makeup trends.
Okay, great. So some of the trends we were actually saying, so Shop Till You Drop actually had a really, really great bold lip. It was gorgeous. Very, very matte, bold colors are really in this year.
We haven't seen that for a while. Really.
No, we were talking about that, and it was probably because a lot of people have they have this hard time wearing a matte lipstick for whatever reason. Maybe it's because after a while it starts to peel or look flaky or not have this really great quality. We were talking earlier that actually the best probably to do is to make sure you put on a balm, not a gloss. If you put even just a little bit of a balm on one lip and then kind of smudge it on both, that gives you just a little thin layer, or even some people were using like a lip primer. That's a good opportunity. Lip primers are good because they kind of set your lips up. They kind of keep the lipstick out of your creases, and you never want to, of course, put on your lipstick and then go like, never do that. Like, put it on one lip at a time, and then what they were actually doing in the Shop Till You Drop runway was they went over it with a tissue to make sure it was very, very matte with a little bit of powder. They kind of just brushed over it with a little bit of powder. And that's a good way to like make sure your lipstick lasts all day. My favorite matte of all time is this amazing Chanel lip balm, and it's a lip color. It's a matte. It's called La Exuberant, and it's like the poppiest little pink in the whole wide world, and it just makes you feel like you should run in the fields with poppies. It's really, really a cool color, but a lot of good color probably is a good orange. This year, orange or like mangoes. You can probably do a really cute mango color, and it just gives you a fresh face. Just gives you a lot of fresh face. Even if you don't do an entire face full of makeup, a bold lip is going to get you further. You know how everyone always calls it the depression red lipstick? But that's kind of going away, not so much a red, because that kind of gives you this dark, it's really hard to pull off the right red to find a red that's good for you. Like, I love the red you're wearing. That's a really good color.
NARS Heatwave.
See? NARS Heatwave. Yeah, so, but just find a good color for you. Like, it took me forever to find that pink, that Chanel La Exuberant. It took me forever. I really went through like 6 or 7 different lipsticks. So don't be afraid to go to a store and just test out stuff that works on you. Just make sure you find something that you literally, once you put it on, you're like, that's my color, walking out the door. And then don't be afraid to buy 2 tubes of it. I bought 2 tubes of the Chanel because I couldn't find it anywhere else, and I was like, this is the color I've been searching for my whole life. So, don't laugh at me.
We understand.
You know what I mean? When you find that perfect color, like, it's like you're like, God, you made it just for me, thanks. And then it's like, but it's sold out. So you find it, and then you buy 2 tubes of it, and then run off and then use it. But it's the color that I get so many compliments on because it looks good when I look tan, it looks good when I look pale, it looks good in the winter, it looks good in the summer. It's kind of one of those very versatile ones. But we're also talking about how to make that pop using a little lip liner on your lip in either a white. They use white on the runways, which I think is a little bit harsh if you're just for a day-to-day look. No one's going to be like, let me just get in there with the white to make that look good. No one can pull that off. But I would say try a nude. Rimmel London actually makes this really great nude lip line. It's an eyeliner actually, but use it on your lips because normally you don't find a nice nude lip color or lip liner. And use that even here, we were talking here and just the creases underneath your lip, and then right here in the little crease at the top to just kind of define your lips a little bit more so that people can, it doesn't run and it doesn't, go too far above your lip or too far below your lip. And it also gives you some definition when you're making your face up. That's, everyone wants to just kind of have that little hidden secret. So now I told you mine. Don't tell anybody or tweet about it. They already know. But that's one.
What other trends we've seen on the runways?
Actually, really, really fresh faces. No, not a lot of dewiness. They were doing a lot with the winged eye.
And there's a lot of eyeliner.
There was a
More
lot of
eyeliner than shadow.
Yes, yes, that's a big trend. A lot of people think that I need to have both liner and shadow. If you're going to do one, I'd say do them with fear and trepidation. If you're going to do them both together. But if you're going to just do one, there's a way to do one or the other. And they were talking a lot about doing the winged eye, which is kind of a little trend on the cat eye, but it's more of a wing, and really just kind of hash marking it to make it work. Don't try it all in one fell swoop, but really kind of build up that eye to make sure you've got it. But really keep a couple of different liners in your makeup bag. One that you can wear for everyday use. Maybe it's a brown or even a gray. It's great if you gray, yeah. I think a lot of people, like for a long time, I was so fearful of wearing black. I felt like that was just too dark because I was very fair-skinned. I thought that dark colors just do too much. You can even do a brown. If you find like a brown black, that's a good color if you're not comfortable with going too dark. But gray is a good kind of intermediary color that no one really thinks of, especially when it comes to makeup.
Yeah. And what are the tips you got for doing that winged eyeliner?
So, like I said, making sure you start on the outer rim of your eye, and you really just kind of want to build up, and then go back into the center. But don't start here thinking you have to, do it all in one fell swoop. Make sure you start on the outer rim first, and then build your way in and out. So if you just kind of keep layering over with a nice, and there was a waterproof one that will give you a little bit of, L'Oreal had this really great waterproof one that will give you a little bit of staying power. Because once you've done it, you don't want to, then accidentally rub your face during the day and you're like, oh, that one. That one with, the heat wave, or that one with the cold, or that one with whatever. But making sure you just kind of go in with a little bit more, just build it up. And try a little bit more each time. If you're trying something for the first time, this is what I do. I try it on a day when I'm not going anywhere, and I have nothing to lose. So I can just wear it around the house on a Saturday morning. I get up, wash my face, put on, just a little bit of makeup, and then just start playing with different things. That's the best time to do it. Don't try it when you're like, my boyfriend's waiting outside, I need to get it done right now. I'm going on a date. No high pressure situations. You try something brand new, like putting on lashes or something.
Yeah. No, I think it's the same with hair. You don't want to try a new hairstyle 5 minutes before you have to go out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we talk about eyebrows?
Absolutely. Eyebrows are like the new everything. Thicker eyebrows are in, so don't over wax, don't over pluck, don't over anything. A thicker eyebrow is really, really in, and the best way to do it, honestly, is to just let it grow naturally and then go and get it and shape it in. So find what your natural shape is. A lot of people, you don't want to go any further than the actual crease of your eye, going up in a diagonal. Anything over that, I've seen people with these like very long, angry brows. I don't know where they're going.
I quite like, there's a tip of checking back at your school photos. Go back to the photo when you're about 11 or 12 before you started playing with them. And that's your best brow. Before you actually mess with them.
That's probably true, yeah.
And that's the kind of shape you should go for.
But mine turned into like a little Batman here.
Well, the most amazing is a straighter brow will also, a thinner brow will also makes your eye look puffier.
Yeah.
So creating a straighter, thicker brow is always more useful, more flattering, pretty much universally.
Yeah.
So I've been using a pencil for restrictives for like the past 10 years, and I'm just powder and pencil. I don't really like it anymore. What should
Try a brown. Have you ever tried a brown gel? It's a clear gel that goes right over your eye. It wets the hair, but it also gives this like sleek look to it. So it gives the appearance of being darker without having to put on any color. So try that. It's a good shaping. I had the best threading experience when I was in LA over the weekend. I swear it was the best brow ever. And she went in with thread, which is killer. However, they weren't too thin, they were really, really great, but she also, then after that, went in with scissors just to kind of shape them down. Not too much to make them thin, but just cut them down a little. And then she went in with a brow brush, just a clear brow gel, which was perfect. And I walked out of there, you know, it didn't look darker, it looked natural, and it looked fresh. It wasn't just because it dries, but it also doesn't flake. That's the thing that people think of when they think of gel. Anytime after it's been put on, it kind of will flake. It doesn't do that. Actually, very, very old Maybelline, the green pink tube, it's the best stuff ever. They make this great brow gel that I use faithfully. It's a good try.
Yeah, there's also tinted brow gels, but my favourite, since the problem with mine is that I have gaps that from previous incidents and never grow back. Or maybe they will. Previous. Yeah, still hoping that they might grow back. And I use a very fine brush. My brow genius, Liam, told me to go just to the art store. Because we always talk about how expensive makeup brushes are, but they're incredibly fragile. And it shouldn't be that way because artists can keep theirs in turpentine and whatever, and they last for a lot longer. So go to the art store and you can buy the finest, flattest brush you can. And that's what you want to use to draw on tiny, like, mimic the hairs and look back on. And I use a matte body brown eyeshadow, just colour match to your own brow. And you just slightly dampen the brush, get a little bit of powder, and then practice in the back of your hand, just drawing a tiny little hair, and you fill in those gaps. And it's like, no one can tell. It is amazing. Yeah,
But yeah, drawing, it can be heavy-handed, and you like, and that one stroke will kill your whole eye.
I find pencils too precise, and powder brushes too solid. Like, you know, they almost like when you used to get a stencil and just stencil one eye, it's just too solid. But this actually drawing a little hair on, so I'll sometimes outline a little bit with the pencil, and then any gaps I fill in with this technique. And if you look up Ultimate Brow Shape, that's Liam does my eyebrows with this genius, and she has how-to videos and things on her site if you do it yourself. She trims and only tweezers, and she works on measurements. Quite amazing. So we have a perfect measurement for your brow, and you always work with that, and then you just fill in the gaps. It's like technique. So good.
Yeah, I had someone actually go over it with white ones. That was the shape that they left. They went over my own eyebrow with white pencil, and then went in to take out.
Yeah, that's
from that shape.
Yeah, to do maintenance at home, I was saying we use concealer to create the shape, and so then I tweeze it around that. You don't touch anything within the bounds.
You had your hand up.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I bought new products yesterday on brows, and there's like silk fibre enhancers. So you can make your eyebrows look fluffier, and it's not shiny, it's like a natural, and four different colours, which is great. And there's even a new product you can buy to help your eyelashes and brows grow. Not cheap, but nevertheless, it's still kind of a amino acid based, natural vitamins and things. And the photos I took were unbelievable of actually people at the stand who had a guy with one longer eyelashes one side, and the girl who had a bushy brow and nothing much in this one, she never put the product on. So there are products coming out there to help people that have gaps or things. I mean, apart from a scar, okay, it might be different with a scar. There are products out there, and the Brow Strong Brow Gels have started. We have those, and there's new silk fibre kind of brush on brow kind of enhance fibres.
Yeah, I've got a mascara that's like that. Almost gives like a false lash effect because it has.
There's one that's like the mascara,
Yeah.
which you brush it, so it actually covers grey hair, the grey hairs in between tinting, so we produce the tinting. And then there's this other thing that helps the eye, which has the fibres in the little bottle, which you just apply on and just brush it through yourself, and it just sticks to the skin. That's another thing.
And tinting's a great way to go as well. In summer, I just get a brow tint and a lash tint, and it's so much easier than because in case we're going to beach in the afternoon again, it's not easy. Like, you know, you think about the water like that. Even though you've taken it off, I still really strong mascara.
Really? I accidentally put on waterproof mascara one day. Waterproof eyeliner one day, and I didn't mean to. I did it on accident. I thought it was just a liquid liner. And I was, for whatever reason, it like my eyes stuck open. Like some really bad beauty issues, then I'm okay to tell them. I'm okay with that. But what was the other ones we were talking about? But false lashes. How many of you like false lashes? Not you? You? I like false lashes. Great. Come on, girl. Lay out.
Yeah.
I mean, I could do a false
When the glue never dries, I was talking, and then I get the glue on my eyebrows, like,
Yeah.
I had, see, like my waterproof problem. That was like I literally had a headache. My eye was open so long. But I will tell it. I have no shame about my messes. But no, like what I do. Here's my trick. And I learned this from a really great website in the States called Beautylish. They make some really great tutorials on there about how to do stuff, and it's usually by like makeup artists. And so these are people I know and trust in real life. So I'm like, yeah, they know what they're doing. I know. But what the one trick was, put a rim of liner on first, and then go in with the actual lash. But even beyond that, like there's a great. I hate to say it's not a really popular product, but it's the best damn gel. I mean, like glue I've ever used. It's by a makeup artist in the States. Her name is Tanessa Myrick, and it's called I Make You Beautiful. I Will Make You Beautiful. IMB, yeah, something like that. Anyway, but it's this great glue. It's the tackiest little glue. 10 seconds, it's on there. So be good when you put it on because the eyelashes go on there for good. So like yesterday I wore some lashes and I was just like, because I was like, I'm not going to wear them for very long. I don't need them for the whole day, but they will last. If you do it really well and you put a good thick line in there, those lashes will last you about a week. Yeah, with that glue. Yes.
Jean, no, you stop it.
No way.
Way.
No.
Yeah, way.
Glue in your eye.
I was so bad. Yeah, I met her once and I was just like, I want to do a show and to change the eyelashes to do a show. And I was like, what do you use to pick one? And she goes, oh, carpet glue. And I'm like, no. And she goes, yeah, you just go to the carpet store and you just buy it in a litre bottle and it'll last you for your whole life. And I'm like,
right, but it'll also take your eye out. It'll also take your eye out. One shaky move and she's missing an eye.
Yeah. She's been using it.
Or she's putting it on
it for like 30 years, and if you know who Jean Hill is, then you would know she's.
This TV personality with like 4 sets of false lashes.
yeah, she's really, she's like she's kind of little and old and really skinny and she's got like blonde hair and she talks like this, she goes, oh, darling.
Well, like Wendy Williams in the States, I don't remember Wendy Williams, but Wendy Williams, the like talk show host, I know her makeup artist, or I've met him, and he was talking about how she wears like 3 or 4 rows of lashes, and I was just like, well, it's TV, yes, but at some point, is that too much? I mean, I don't know, so that's my thing. But I think lashes are a good thing in moderation, like every good thing is in moderation. Don't have too many macaroons, don't have too much cake, don't wear too many rows of lashes.
Yeah, I wear them sometimes in my tutorials. Because when you're being photographed, even when you're wearing full face of makeup, it looks quite natural. It's like the camera will just eat through a lot of makeup. So I tend to wear lashes when I'm shooting, just so that you can see on profile, and it has a bit more impact in the photo. I always got really subconscious wearing them in real life. I felt like people felt they got heavy. I thought people were staring at them. But really, when you're putting them on, you're about an inch from the mirror, and everyone else is about a meter away from you. So it looks obvious an inch away from your face, but when someone is actually in normal conversation about this time, they're not like asking your face. So I can see
Those are great lashes.
Yeah.
My friends are, so maybe my friends are, because when I wear lashes, they're like, oh God, your eyes look okay.
Well, they're the difference, but if you're, but they're not saying, oh, they look really obvious.
No, well, they know their names are false. I mean, I'm okay. My friends know me well enough. I actually saw a girl going into Salon Melbourne the other day, and she had these lashes that were like, no, we were actually going into the runways. Remember this girl? She had these lashes that looked like they just were fans of feathers. And I was like, but her outfit wasn't great. But that's just all I was just like, you decided to do all of that. Anything else? I don't know who it was, so if you're out there watching, it was a cute outfit. I loved your lashes.
But for a more wearable one, sometimes I like a crisscross lash. I think it looks quite subtle. It gets a little bit finer, slightly different lengths, and I find that really easy to wear. That was the one that I first started venturing to wear out. It didn't feel like it was midnight, and my eyes were smaller for wearing lashes.
Yeah, I think finding, like, know your own lash too, because if you got thinner lashes, don't go with the feathers. Don't try the feathers on your first go out. Try something that's a little smaller. They also make them, and you can cut them. Don't think that what they give you is what you got to work with. But also, go lash shopping. I love lash shopping. Swear, we gotta go lash shopping. It's like my favorite thing to do. I usually go when I'm you can get into these little lash stores or whatever, and they have different lashes of different types. There's also mink lashes. Those are amazing. Once you put them on, those are for a special occasion because they're very expensive. But just a quick drugstore lash. Try that on. Try the liner. Play around with it on a Saturday when you don't have anywhere to go and no one's watching you, and you just go into the grocery. Then you're like, yeah. Mangoes. That's why I look. And it's just ask random people because then they don't judge you about it. They're just like, oh, no. They'll tell you honestly. That's because if you ask someone you know and love, they'll just want to make you feel good. But really ask someone who has no invested interest in you. They don't care what way.
I would lie to a stranger. So if I told you, oh my gosh, they'd be like, great, whatever you want me to say. I'm just with a strange deranged woman.
Oh, no, don't do that. It's camaraderie. It's like if you got toilet paper on your head. I just want to someone tell me that.
Yeah, something you have to tell.
You gotta tell. It's the sisterhood of us. We've got to make sure we keep each other together. I'm always that person who's like, randomly on people, and I know it's bad, but I do it.
Do you type little tags in?
Yeah. I got the urge. I'm a hair picker as well. When you see hair all over someone's sweater or jacket, I'm just like.
Being ready all day long.
It's not even it's not like I'm a weirdo. But you know what I mean? It's just the camaraderie of it. When we're out at a nice place, and I see hair.
Or probably wearing their hair just come off their jacket. It's going to come off, is it?
No, this is it's
paint.
Yeah, it's a liquid and it's dried, so this is
If you were getting hot, sort of dancing, will it come off your jacket?
Good question.
Your hair.
I checked my towel after I washed it, and there was colour on my towel. So
there you go.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. That's why I guess it's almost more of a semi-permanent chalk. The chalk is really transfer. Once they're just dusty straight on your hair, I have found that they do transfer. So I wouldn't wear anything, but they do come out the wash. I have had it go to just a cotton t-shirt, but it came out the wash, so that's a bonus.
You should have a week,
What? Yeah. So I think it's going to be wrong. Yeah. This one, this is not the L'Oreal Professional. It's just come out as a liquid hair chalk. No, they're in salon, and maybe Adobe, but it's in salon. L'Oreal salons have it. And you can do it in salon or just take some products as well. And it will just good. Yeah, thanks. It's pretty good. I think it's going to last a while. Let's say 3 shampoos, but I've already shampooed 3 times, so I think it's going to be
It's going to be there for quite some time.
I've got to do a shoot because you can actually get some colour removal.
Yeah, what do you say to people who perhaps hypothetically you might say, I've always wanted to have blue or purple hair, and I'm feeling like getting about 2 inches cut off, so before I do it, I might just make the bottom 2 inches purple, and then everyone in your life is like, no, don't do it. And your husband keeps going, we're 32, we're 32.
This sounds like a serious script. My friend wants to get her hair cut. Let me show your friend. Do it. It's your at the end of the day, it's your hair. It's just hair. I cut off and my hair was probably a little shorter than yours in 2012, and it just went on the floor one day. I went into a Paul Mitchell school, and I think the kid almost crapped himself. He was just like, I showed him a picture, and I was like, this is what I want, and he was like, I mean, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. He was like, but no one ever asks for that. And I was like, right. I was like, I came to a school because I wanted a student to get the opportunity to cut hair. And he was like, oh my house. He was like with the scissors, and then he went in, and he's like cutting, right? His like hands are shaking, and he's like, I'm not too far in. Are you sure this is what you want to do? And I was like, go for it, dear. And you could see women walking by, just like, oh my God, are you good? Are you serious? And I'm like, yep, it's gone. It's just hair. It's just your hair. And if you don't like it, cut it, change it, start again. It's just hair. It's not rocket science. No one's going to die. Like, it's not a life or death thing. It's like, it's right. If the work it, yeah, you just shave it, it's fine. I mean, but just cut it. It grows back. It's your hair. Yes, it's a part of you, and yes, it's a personal thing, but it's not something to like have a cow over. It's just hair. Like, I cut mine, and I don't know if I'll go back long again. I did it because I have a daughter who's got curly hair like this, and I was like, we're not going to both live with this much hair. Someone's got to die. It's going to be me. Because it was doing hair every week for hours. I was just like, it's not worth my time. I want to do other things like read my life.
So, yeah, I would do it. And if you can't wear right clothes to work, you roll it up into a bun. Hide it for the day. Easy to do.
Yeah, that's easy to do. I've seen people do the little long different colors and pinks and different stuff like that. That's cute. And over 30, you can do that. We just were talking, so we were having this conversation about how 30 is the kind of wasteland. Like ages, like you're right, it's like you're not 20 anymore, you're not 40.
It's like everyone's being so confident, but everyone's so nervous. And you should just do it.
Do it. I waited until I was 30 to cut this. I did this when I was 30. I was just like, boom, take it. And everyone freaked out, but I was okay. Yeah, it was fine. Yeah. So do you guys have any other questions that we could ask, or any other trends you've seen that you might want to talk about, or any old thing before we transition?
You recommend a good false lash?
A good false lash. Actually, there's a brand in the States that I love. It's called Kiss. They're pretty inexpensive. It's a cosmetic brand. You can find them anywhere.
I kind of also like Manicare. They're just a price line. I find them pretty good quality. I get a few wears out of them as well. Yeah, and they come with glue. And the glue that they come with is actually okay. Otherwise, Duo is the best one to buy. Otherwise,
You like Duo? Really? Okay. I mean, I've either loved it, a person will either love it or hate it. Yeah.
But the Manicare comes with a pretty good one actually. And I find that the quality of the lashes and some range of lashes that I have now is really good.
We'll say, there's professional lashes, Ardell,
Yes.
Ardell or Pro Lash, many of them.
Yeah, I usually get mine from a little pro shop in the States called Nigel Beauty. And they sell them online, and they're usually rows and rows and rows and rows. So I buy them in bulk.
There's
Yeah.
strip ones or the
Yeah, strip. I don't do individuals. Those take a lot of steady hands that I don't
I
have.
have not either, but you can't actually put them on yourself and free like make them up.
Yeah. I've had them put on before, and they look fantastic, but I don't have the steady hand.
What's your favorite brand?
Velour lashes.
Oh, yeah.
Mink lashes.
Yeah, make lashes. Actually, there's I think Katy Perry actually also has a new brand of lashes that are fun and poppy. So if you really want to be quirky and cute, and find you some cute lashes that may have pink on them or something. Those are fun. Yeah, Katy Perry has a new lash line. Yeah, a new lash line that's really popular and cute.
And what's your favorite lash glue? Yeah.
Duo. See, they must have. I have a very bad impression of Duo over the years because my grandmother used to wear lashes like very long. Like I have amazing grandmothers who both like were very glammy. So that's why I get it. I get it pretty honestly. But my grandmother wore lashes every day, and like by the end of the day, like her lashes were like gone. Like they were like, like stuck on in different ways. I'd be like, grab, okay. So I mean, Duo works. I mean, I know it does. Also, I don't know if you guys have it here. Elf Cosmetics, Eyes Lips Face. You do now?
I don't know about the lashes. I know they got cosmetics.
Yeah, they have cosmetics. They also have lashes, and actually their lash looks pretty decent and it's clear. It's also pretty good, and it's also very inexpensive. It's like and those are good lashes to try. You've never tried lashes for like $3, and so for $3 you can feel like it's less than a cup of coffee. You're probably like, okay, well those are gonna work for dinner, and then I can go up and spend more money on it. Yeah. Cool. So, any more questions?
I'd like to know a bit more about what you're doing at next.
Oh, okay. So, some of you tonight actually did get with your ticket, you're getting a copy of my book. So I'll tell you a little bit more about myself since I'm sure you've heard about Christina. I am a beauty blogger, but also I'm a social media, I don't know how to say the word, no. I just know a lot about it. Yeah, I'm a social media professional. I'll say it that way. And I teach makeup artists and beauty professionals, so nail technicians, hair artists, like all of these amazing stylists, how to really build their businesses utilizing social media and kind of making themselves into a brand. And really branding themselves as an artist that they are. I found being a beauty blogger and kind of fangirling on a bunch of makeup artists, I found this very intermediary group of artists who were really, really amazing. However, they didn't understand how to properly market themselves in a way. And it kind of made me sad because they're great artists, but like their art's very perishable. So they can do your face today, and then you go home and you wash it, and you don't remember it, and they have no record. So that's really kind of my mission, is really kind of to educate artists about how to really build themselves as individual brands and really marketing themselves in a way that's going to help grow their business. Even though they don't need the web to do their work, they work in an offline space. But how can the web enhance what they do, and how can it really pour into them as artists and really create a business for them that kind of makes money for them when they're not really having to go out and hunt for it, or that next referral, or hear from that next client to say hopefully they liked what I did and they're going to tell someone else, and maybe someone will come and ask me to do their face for their wedding or whatever. So that's really what 11 Beautiful Tools is really about. But it's also teaching you how to utilize social media for yourself. I started in the social media space probably about 2008. I got on Twitter in April of 2008, so my Twitterversary is coming up. And I was on Facebook since 2005. Just really kind of utilizing the space and really connecting with people that I knew. And so that's how I really started in, doing the stuff that I do. So I do a lot of speaking and teaching and workshops. And I wanted to come to Australia actually when I met Christina at a blogger conference in Chicago, and we were just chatting in the lobby, like, so what do you do? Oh, really? Okay, well, what do you do? Oh, really? But it's really created this business for me that's taken me now all over the world, really strictly because of social media. And so I teach people how to utilize it in a smart way for their businesses in a really fun way. It's still connecting, even though you're doing it through a digital medium. So, I have, friends online. I have friends online all over the place. So, makeup artists in London and hairstylists in New York, you just pick up and people in these places, and it's really a fun business. But actually, I'm starting a new item, which is the reason why this is called the Business of Beauty. This year, I'm actually starting, and I actually launched a new website since I've been here, called the Business of Beauty, and it's really more of a collective of just women who love beauty, artists who want inspiration about beauty, you know, talking about their story. And even here, I've met with some of the artists that were doing some of the runway shows, and really just having this conversation about, you know, how their story is probably inspiring. And, you know, there's a series going to be on the blog called Lipstick Stories. Just really telling some of the stuff that I just told you about, how everyone's got some crazy beauty story, good or bad or otherwise, but every beauty purchase has some sort of story to it, and what's that story behind that purchase that really helps us connect with each other, because we all want something beautiful in life, or we all want to be beautiful, but how are we really cultivating that kind of community in doing so? So,
Congratulations on the new site.
thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, and so we're actually going to be doing some additional events, and so hopefully next year I will be back to do this with you guys one more time and talk trends from the runways again. And if Christina will do it with me, I will. It's like I'm marrying her, so someone help me down. But you know, like it's really just kind of that community of online bloggers. I literally sent Christina an email like, "Hello, I'm from Chicago." I was like, "Don't you want to do this event with me? I don't need you to hurry, but I need you to hurry. It's due Friday." And she said yes. So I'm really, really grateful to you for coming out and inviting your community and sharing this with your online community, as I will be doing in the States. They've all been wondering why. I had a friend ask me why I was out eating in the middle of the night for the last week. I was like, so wait, where are you? Because I've seen you out at night eating really, really late.
Like salads at night.
It's like, you are totally dressed up though, like, where are you? And I was like, I'm in Melbourne. It's like, oh, makes sense. Okay, then carry on. But that's the, I mean, this is the stuff I love. I love doing workshops. This is how I got started. This is actually how my book got started. I started teaching workshops to makeup artists and hairstylists and professionals, and they had so many questions about social media and about, you know, how to really translate their expertise, because they're the experts. Bloggers, we are just the fearless beings who are willing to get on there and be wrong and be like, oh, well, we tried that hair job, that's not temporary.
I do like to be the professional meeting.
Yeah, exactly. We like the challenge and the chase of a new product. Whereas artists, they do it for a living, and this is their business, and this is their business that feeds their families and really kind of is their passion. But unfortunately, they let bloggers run away with the entire industry. They let us just have at it. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I think there's a space for all of us in that. And definitely in the beauty industry, how can we help them really kind of grow? Because their expertise is what we really hope for and need, not just in a salon or on our day of our wedding or on the day of a big thing. We want it all the time. Great. So that's pretty much it. So I know some of you got your ticket. They came with the book, so I will autograph your book. There's books to sell if there's anyone here who didn't get one wants one. And I know I need to check in a couple of you that walked in a little late, so make sure you guys get checked in. And if you had a book with your ticket, I want to make sure you go home with it. But thank you so much for coming out. This has been an amazing experience in Melbourne for this week. It's a great and amazing city, and I promise you it won't be the last time you'll see my face. I'm coming back. I said I'm coming back with an entourage because I have so many people who are like, the shows. So next year, Chicago will be back in a big, big way.
And I'd just like to thank you, Therese, for organising this and having me to be part of it tonight. And thank you all so much for coming. I really appreciate it. And yeah, look forward to seeing you next in Chicago or back here.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. in the book that talks about blogging and how having your own space online, your own real estate online is going to be the most important piece, because people think, a lot of artists think like, oh, I can be on Facebook and I have a Facebook fan page. Mark Zuckerberg owns that fan page. We don't need it. You need a space that's going to be your own, for your own audience, that you can talk about your product or business or your beliefs in a space that folds like you. That is your own page. Yeah, a website address and having your own URL and really kind of really just sharing what it is you do. Absolutely.
You know much about getting one to that in Australia, or you only know from that?
No, I mean, the process is probably very, very similar, just purchasing the URL, just getting the name of it, and all of it. She actually got a book, so it's in there, it's
And then I just need to read through.
Really?
I just want to grab some.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, person. I have one here if you want one. Oh, no, that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. It's on Amazon, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do it. I can do it.
Maybe sit in there.